Hey guys, D1sco here, and I quickly want to apologize. I have been sick the last couple days with something. I don't know what. I think I have some sort of throat infection, so if I cough or maybe sound a little weird or whatever, I, that's the reason why. But today, and I've been needing to do these videos for a while, today I'm reacting to the Dead by Daylight 9.4.0 PTB patch notes. I like doing these before I go into the chapter, just because just because I like reading everything, and now um, I just think it's nice kind of making this its own separate video, so that way I can read it all, because these are long sometimes, and also kind of speculate on things. I did do things a little bit differently with this PTB. I did film my reaction to the trailer already. Usually I do that last, but yeah. GV8 content will become available with testing on D8s. Well, that's actually available now then. That's cool. Me and Orange will have to maybe mess with that. But I still don't know if we're actually going to play together or not. If we do, you'll obviously get a video. If not, that's fine. But we haven't really talked about it much, so. New content features. Yep. I'm curious what they mean by the 2V thing. Steam will be on online to the D1sco spin on your platform. Next is incurs Blood Web, the character we are Microsoft Imaging Screen. Sugar love ads, all fragrance and pretty low using new content, new killer, the first. I don't understand why he is called that. I understand it has something to do with the show and whatnot, but as I've mentioned in many videos, I don't know anything about Stranger Things. I've only seen the very first episode, enjoyed it, and just never found my way back to watching it again. Partly because of how busy I've been. I've had a lot of stuff going on, so it's been very difficult for me to find time. Some days. So I'm not sure why he's called that. I'm assuming it's probably explained in the show, but I don't know what. Looks like the first special ability is Vine Attack. Let's see what Vine Attack is like. Press and hold the power button to charge a Vine Attack. Okay. That makes me think of Nemesis's whip, but like maybe slightly different. When charged, press the attack button to activate it, creating a small area of effect on the ground. Obviously, I don't really know what that area effect means or looks like. I don't know the area. I'd have to actually, play the game to know. But I haven't played the PTB yet. I'm hoping to soon, but with me being sick, I haven't been forward able to. Any survivors caught in the area of the Vitek earn a World Breaker token. I don't know what that means at all. So this World Breaker token must be a brand new game mechanic releasing alongside this, which is interesting to think about, but I don't know what that means. The Vine Attack sounds interesting. It sounds like some sort of AoE attack, but I don't fully understand. Like, makes me think of Doctor, but I don't fully understand, like, the specifics of it. Special ability, the Upside Down and Under Gate. The killer can enter the Upside Down to navigate the map quickly by tapping the ability button. I wonder if it's going to be like Demogorgon, because Demogorgon technically does that too, but he places the portals that survivors can like close and whatnot. While in the Upside Down, the killer can activate an undergate attack to return to the map, creating a large area effect on the grounds. Various caught within its radius gain 2 World Breaker tokens. I don't really understand what that means either. Demogorgon, when you're going for the Upside Down, because technically you are with him for the portals, it's just an animation of you going through, and you can't move or anything. It's similar-ish to going for the tunnels of Xenomorph, but Xenomorph can actually... Oh, God. Well, Xenomorph can actually... Like, you control him, right? You actually get to move him through. So, yeah. Special condition / item, World Breaker, and Grandifier clocks. Once a survivor gains enough tokens, interesting, World Breaker activates, and the World Breaker timer begins. While World Breaker is active, both Divine Attack and Undergate attacks do damage to survivors instead of adding tokens, and 4 Grandfather clocks activate. I'm still kind of confused, but to be honest with you, it's a brand new character. Like, I think all of us, for the most part, are just figuring things out. So, yeah, I don't really know what that means. World Breaker lasts for a predetermined amount of time based on the number of survivors alive. Survivors can interact with the Grandfather clock spread around the map to speed up the World Breaker timer. I don't know what any of that means. It comes across as complicated sounding to me, partly because it's, a new mechanic. So it comes across a little alphabet-y soup sounding to me. But it sounds like an interesting idea. I, for one, am incredibly worried about all of this, considering the fact that they've been dropping the ball hard. Right, as we all know, ever since July 2025 when the Walking Dead chapter release, they've been dropping the ball super hard. Like, they had, the rest of 2025 was horrible. They had a horrible rest of 2025. The game never really got better. They never really fixed certain issues and whatnot. They tried and failed twice to do that one change to get rid of 2 sort of annoying killer playstyle things. Yeah, it's just been a hot mess. So I would say I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't want to come in here overly optimistic because of how hard they've been dropping the ball, but I also understand that if they learned from their mistakes, then this might actually be good. Let's see, new killer perks. It's always fun seeing perks because they're kind of a huge deciding factor for this game. I mean, it's crazy. So we got turn back the clock. After hooking a survivor for 40, 50, 60 seconds, press ability button 1 to make target generator within 20 meters explode. When lose 10% progress and start regressing. That sounds really confusing. A lot of the perks that have the game are sort of passive things, and I think that's why this one's confusing me so much. This one sounds a little bit more a little bit more like, I don't know, not passive. I don't really know how to explain, but it just sounds quite a bit different in how you activate it and whatnot than other perks. And if it's good or not, I have no idea. I'm very bad as killer. I haven't played yet, but what I can say is, and I began yawning like crazy. All of a sudden, that's fun. But it sounds alright. I mean, target generator within 20 meters of you that explodes. It loses 10% of its progress immediately. Starts regressing a little bit. Fair enough. It doesn't sound too crazy to me, honestly. Secret project. When a totem is blessed or cleansed, block a random unblocked generator for 20, 25, 30 seconds. When one or more generators become blocked, you gain untextable for 30, 30, 30 seconds. Honestly, Secret Project doesn't sound horrible, but it's kind of whatever. I like the idea of having a perk that punishes cleansing just dual totems. Some players like to cleanse dual totems, I think, for the money and just be on the safe side. And I do that too occasionally, usually for the money. And I think it's cool that there's a killer perk that's sort of punishing you for doing that a little bit. Also, I think it's cool that we have another perk that deals with blessing totems. Because before we only had Shattered Hope, where you completely destroy the totem using it. But now we have this perk, which, yeah, it doesn't get rid of the boon, but it does sort of utilize the boon and the cleansing to block the gens. It's kind of an interesting idea. I at least like the uniqueness of Secret Project. I have a feeling. I'm not saying Secret Project is going to be good or not, but I like how unique it is. I really like some of the ideas that are going on here. Hex Hive Mind. The first time you hook any survivor, a dual totem becomes a hex totem. Interesting. Generators are highlighted. The intensity generator auras reveals the repair progress. I always thought that was interesting that there's a number of perks that do that. I don't really know what the point of it is, but hey, you do you. When 111 generator remains, it's not even Christmas time. Okay. When 111 generator remains, all remaining generators explode, lose 6, 8, 10% progress and start regressing, and the hex totem becomes dual. It just kind of sounds whatever to me, honestly. I'm not gonna say any of these perks are bad because I don't really know and I haven't tested them, and I don't really have a good setup to try to test them, and I'm not very good at killer, but it just sounds whatever to me. Like, his perks overall just sound meh to me. There's nothing here that I'm like, this is amazing. You know what I mean? They just kind of sound meh and kind of situational. This is something me and Orange have been talking about a lot to each other, sort of off camera, with survivors. Is how the last number of survivors, their perks just aren't the best. Like, not that they're not good, but just they've been really doing a lot of situational perks, especially with survivors. They can only really use in certain instances. And that's it. So I'm hoping. So I would be interested to see what this the new Stranger Things survivors have in store for us. So we got new survivor Dustin Henderson, a character I don't think I've ever met yet. If he was in the very first episode, of the entire show, just again all that I've seen, I don't think I met him. Well, I think I would have saw him, but like I don't know if I would have known who that was. I don't think I would. Just because I don't really remember a whole lot about the episode in general, like name wise and whatnot. Bada new survivor perks. So we got Bada Bada Boom. After completing 20% worth of repairs, press ability button 1 next to a window to trap it for 40, 50, 60 seconds. I think that's cool, actually. I like how there's now a window trap. Almost every trap is like there's like 3 or 4 trappy like esque things. There's like I think at least 2 things that you put in the gens, one of which is technically a trap. The other one is a little bit different. And then we have traps for pallets, like one of Ellen's perks, the chemical trap perk, I believe, is what it was called. So, yeah. I like that. I like how there's now a window perk. I really like that. I like how there's a window trap now. I really like that a lot. I hope it'll be good, honestly, because I really like that a lot. The trap triggers when the killer performs a vault on the window, inflicting it with 50% hindered for 666 seconds. That's kind of funny. The number of the beatdown. Anyways, that's pretty cool. I like that a lot, though. I really like the idea there. I think it's interesting that it kind of slows them. I like how they're starting to kind of give us things that are maybe similar to other things, but they have unique effects. I like how this is a window trap. Like, to my knowledge, there isn't many window, like, trap things, so I'm happy that Dustin here is bringing another one. Hey. Whoa, I don't know what just happened there. Change of plan. You start with 222 tokens. While inside a locker and holding a non-event toolbox, press ability button 2 to spend 111 token and transform your toolbox into a med kit of the same rarity with a random add-on of the same rarity. The new med kit has 80, 90, 100% of its charges. Kind of like the idea of that, honestly. We never had a perk like that before that could change your items, like depending on the situation. I'm curious if you use all of the toolbox charges, if it'll still give you charges for the med kit, or if you can still use the perk. But I actually really like that. That's really unique compared to things we already have in the game and whatnot. That I personally like that a lot. And finally, Teamwork Full Circuit. It's been a bit since the last Teamwork perk, so I'm excited to see a new one. For each other survivor repairing a generator with you, the size of the good skill check zone is increased by 15, 20, 25%. I like that. Or repairing with at least one other survivor, you repair 5% faster. I honestly like that perk a lot. I think Dustin here has got a couple of perks that I actually like. Not that there's been a bunch of survivors who have perks I didn't like, but kind of like I mentioned earlier, they all, when you read their effects, were very situational, right? You can only really use them under certain circumstances, whatnot. You couldn't just use them whenever. So I like I like Dustin's perks a lot. Yeah, some of them are situational, but they're a bit more I really like Dustin's perks a lot on paper. Dustin so far is my favorite perks. Nothing against the first tier, but I'm just not a killer main. I suck ass anytime I try to play killer. Just been my personal experience. So his perks just kind of sound whatever to me. They sound interesting, but they just sound meh to me. You know what I mean? They just sound whatever. But I like Dustin's perks a lot for sure. And the final character we're getting is 11, the other new survivor. Let's see what 11's perks are. Extra sensory perception. I like the name of that. After crouching for 444 seconds, we're off to a great start. You see auras in an expanding radius. I wonder what they mean by in an expanding radius. I'm kind of curious what that means. Like maybe when you use it, it like expands up to us. I don't. Up to 44, 44, 44 meters. Have elusive and oblivious. When you stop crouching or after 11, 11, 11 seconds, the perk casters a 60, 50, 40 second cooldown. I kind of like that, honestly. You crouch for a little bit, and then you see auras. It expands so that way you can see a little bit more. I like the idea of the perk. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I really like the idea of the perk. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Perk. I like their perks so far, for sure. We see you. When the killer reveals your aura, you gain one token. When you have 444 tokens, a lot of fours going on with 11. That's kind of interesting. Spend. You'd think there'd be more 11s, but no. It's kind of interesting. When you have 444 tokens, spend all tokens, and you and other survivors see the killer's aura for 10, 12.5, 15 seconds. This perk has a 10, 10, 10 second cooldown. Honestly, not bad. Kind of a little information perk. Hey, here's where the killer's at. You know, I don't mind it actually. I don't mind it. Teamwork, soft spoken. Yet another teamwork perk. It's been so long since the last teamwork perks I remember were Felita and Renato's, who also had the first ones. And I think there may have been one or two teamwork perks since, but I don't remember who had them off the top of my head, or if they were any good. But yeah, for each other survivor repairing a generator with you, the range at which generator repair noise is heard is reduced by 15, 20, 25%. Repairing with at least one other survivor, you repair 5% faster. I like hers a lot too. I like Dustin's a lot because it makes the skill check zone like bigger, which is helpful. I still mess up skill checks occasionally, so that would be helpful. But I like 11's a lot as well because it kind of makes it quieter. It's sort of a stealth teamwork perk in terms of like gen noises, so I like that. Ooh, I'm super excited to get to the 2v8 part. Um, oh, interesting. So it's actually available in the PTB, the 2v8 stuff. So they must be doing some 2v8 testing for perhaps the next one, or perhaps yeah, some future things. Maybe for like the future if they ever are allowed to like I don't know. We'll see when we get there, but I'm curious if me and Orange will test out those PTB things together. I feel like he would want to if we do end up actually doing a video together. Again, I have no idea if we are going to or not. I haven't really spoken to him very much about it, but I'll have to ask him at some point. Features. Visual tear radius. I don't fully know what that means. Updated the 2D version of the visual terrace heart to be animated to match its 3D heart behavior. Has its own lullaby version. I don't really know what that means. If I'm being honest with you, I don't remember. I think mine might be set to the 3D heart, maybe, but I could be wrong. I mean, it sounds interesting for sure. I just don't really know what that means, and they didn't really have a whole lot to say. But it sounds interesting. I just wish they would have gone into more detail, because this is like barely anything to go off of. You know, it's not enough like words to for me at least to understand what's happening. So we're just gonna move on, I guess. 2v8 available on the PTB from the 8th to 13th. It is actually the 8th today as we're recording. I was actually gonna film this like a day before, but it just didn't work out because I ended up filming other things. I ended up being super late. It got super late on me. But also just because I haven't been feeling the best, and I kind of in some ways feel worse today. But I sort of, but like earlier, before I started really feeling not the best. I mean, I've taken some medicine and whatnot to try to help, but yeah, that ended up being a mistake. I took some pills, and wow, that hurt my chest. So that was a mistake. But yeah, I kind of talked myself into starting to film these. We'll see if I actually finish everything, but we're still bleeding. So, new killer, the good guy, and Nate skills. I'm really excited about this because he is not, Chucky is not in the, he is not a 2V character yet. I'm curious where this is going to go, and another thing I'm curious about is, will they talk about our boy, Legion? Because Legion got removed during the last one in November, basically because they were too broken. So like, they were, I guess, a little too OP when you were a good player. I select Ass as all killer, so I select Ass as Legion in 2v8, but that's kind of the way I understood. Slice and Dice turn speed increased by 10%, increased Heidi HUD mode uptime by 15%. The good guy can see illusionary footfalls around survivors, increased Slice and Dice attack duration by 50%. Performing a scamper under a pallet breaks it immediately. Some interesting ideas there. But it's hard to... Balancing is hard, especially in 2v8. So much happening, but... Interesting ideas. Killer update for the Nemesis. Added 2 additional zombies for a total of 4. Ooh, it's not just going to be Steven Cheryl anymore. Steven Chandra. Can't remember our freaking zombie names for some reason. Me and Orange are gonna have to figure out what the other 2 ones should be called, because it's been just Steven Chandra. That's the names me and Orange have given the zombies. I don't know why we gave them both starting S names, but we did. I think Steve may have came from something, and then for some reason my brain was like, "You're Chandra now" to the female zombie, and now it's just Steve and Chandra to us. But yeah, I'm really curious. I'll have to talk to Orange maybe when we film the next video. Again, if we do film, or at the very least, like, play the PTB together, we'll have to come up with a name for the 2 new zombies. I kind of wanted to go to fit with the Steven Chandra sort of dynamic. I wanted to fit with those names we already came up with, but I'll have to talk to him about that at some point. And increased zombie movement speed by 35%, which is not bad, honestly. There's a lot of people complain about the zombies. I think there's some people who don't have as much of an issue with them as other people. I, for one, don't mind the zombies. I find them to be helpful in very specific situations. They're also useful tools to help get your power, which is also helpful. Sorry, my throat is dying. I need to get some liquid in me. But yeah, increasing the zombie movement speed sounds nice. You know, it really does sound nice. So I'm hoping that it will be good because it sounds really nice on paper. Killer class updates. Ooh, it won't just be killer updates for 2v8. We're also getting some class updates to that system. I'm excited. So we got Brute up first. So the break action speed is increased by 25%. Kicking a generator causes it to weaken and begin regressing. The aura of the kick generator will appear in yellow to the Brute. The next time a survivor interacts with the generator and repairs it past its regression point, it explodes, triggering a loud noise notification and sprays the survivor with smoke. This whole spraying the survivors with smoke thing is interesting to me because that's like a brand new effect. You know what I mean? That sounds like a brand new effect to me, or at the very least, sort of like a different twist on maybe one that already exists. The survivor suffers from the hindered stats effect for 12 seconds. It sounds a little bit different. I think that's cool to add sort of this new gen effect. You know, maybe they can test it through 2v8 or something. I don't know, but that sounds cool. The aura of the generator returns to red after the effect occurs. Cooldown for 60 seconds where bleak, or sorry, not bleak, my brain is bleh, where break action speed bonus is not applied. Fearmonger team skill. Gain 5% haste when unseen. Injuring a survivor by any means causes that the two survivors within 12 meters of the injured survivor to scream, revealing their aura to your teammates for 2 seconds. That sounds nice. Ooh, Enforcer art as well. Nice. I kind of hope all 4 of the killer ones got picked, because so far there's 3 of them. A little upset Fearmonger didn't get many changes. I mean, Brood got quite a few, and I like the Brood changes a lot, but I'm excited demonstrating the Fearmonger ones. Cooldown for 60 seconds where haste bonus is not applied. Fair enough, honestly. I don't feel like the Fearmonger changes are all that bad. I mean, they're kind of whatever sounding, but in 2v8, with how much is going on, I feel like that could really be useful. Oh, they didn't give the 4th one. Ooh, the new survivor class as well. I'm excited to see what that's like. I'm a little upset they didn't add the 4th one. I can't think of what it's called right now, but we're upset they didn't touch the 4th killer team skill, but whatever. Enforcer. Gain 3% haste when chasing an injured survivor. I kind of like that. When you hit a survivor, the survivor receives the Enforcer's mark, which is visible above you and your teammate. Survivors with Enforcer's mark apply to have their auras revealed for 1 second every 8 seconds. While marked for 45 seconds. Downing the survivor consumes the mark and increases the Enforcer's lunge attack distance by 60% for 15 seconds. 60-second cooldown where the haste bonus is not applied. New survivor class, the Torch Bearer, which I really want to read because that's brand new. Alright, so we got the class skills. Starts with Flashlight of uncommon rarity. So immediately this is not the class for me because I still suck donkey dick using flashlights. So, yeah, immediately not my class, but whatever. Class skill charges over 60 seconds, granting a flash grenade when fully charged. Okay. Behaves like an ability does not take up any item slot. Press the active ability button to activate the flash grenade. Cooldown in 60 seconds. Interesting. Info. Oh, and they also got an update, but just to one of their skills. Interesting. Oh, we got a couple new maps. Looks like coming some features. I'm excited to read all this. I'm still kind of worried about how long this video is going to take me because I feel like the reading video takes forever. But we'll see. As long as I just keep with it, right? And I still sick or whatever, so that sucks. Survivors in chase have their aura revealed to you within 42 meters. Point a flashlight at a killer for 0.5 seconds to reveal them for 2 seconds. Interesting, not bad. Sounds kind of interesting. Excited to see what it's like for sure. Unlockable skill. Grant endurance to survivors who pick up from the dying state. Injured survivors that unhook you gain endurance. Nice. Survivor class update. Scout. Unlockable skill. Increases your walking speed by 25% and make no grunts of pain while injured. Grants immunity to screaming. Nice. New maps. So we got the Groaning Storehouse and the Rotten Field. And features. I looked very briefly at features. We got some interesting things here in features. So let's actually read them now. Tonics. Herb gameplay returns in the form of tonics. They can be found in locations where you would normally find totems and are scattered throughout the map. There are 2 types of tonics that have different effects for survivor and killers. From what I remember, the herbs were only used in the 2v8 in the Resident Evil 2v8, but not. And then I don't think there was anything really like that in the Strangers. Yeah, because that's what that was called. Silent Hill, Castlevania crossover 2v8 thing. I don't remember there being anything like that in that one, but I could be wrong. I feel like there was, and I just can't remember for some reason. But I like the idea of bringing back the herbs, and of course they changed it up a little bit, which makes sense, honestly. So we got the diluted tonic. So for survivors, it restores the health state on use, and for killer, it increases haste by 10% for 20 seconds. Purified tonics. Survivor restores a hook state on use. Killer grants a 10% haste bonus to both killers or for 20 seconds. Dual tear radius. We have updated the tear radius to reflect both killers in range, adjusting the audio tracks for each killer as they get closer to or further from survivors. The visual tear radius indicator from the accessibility settings has also been updated to show both killers when in range, including buys and regular tear radii. Tear radial. I don't understand. Speak English, please. Please, patch notes. I don't understand. Cooperative healing. Increases the number of survivors able to simultaneously heal one another to 3. Well, that's 2. Nice. Bug fixes for 2v8. I'm just going to quickly scroll down. Okay. Not as bad as I thought, honestly. I didn't even realize we blazed through so much. Let's do this. Feeling good that we're near the end. I'll give you guys my final thoughts. And then tomorrow's video, assuming I film it after this video or sometime later, I backed up a little bit on video, so I should have time. I'll do my first impression video where we'll see their models, we'll see their animations, I'll read their backstory, stuff like that, first impressions, and then we'll play. Bug fixes for 2v8. Fix an issue where canceling the uncaged interaction as the case survivor relocated cause something gets stuck in place for the rest of the trial. I don't know if it'll be in here, but I kind of want to mention here, I had a bug in a 2v8. So, the bug I encountered was really weird. I was just walking around, and I stumbled upon a cage in, like, a hallway, like a cased survivor. But they weren't in the cage. I think the cage was still there visually, but I just saw a survivor, like, standing on the floor in the injured animation. So I went over and I tried to hit the survivor because I was like, well, um, because I thought that was weird, and I couldn't hit them at all. Um, and if they were caged, and if they were, I think they were still in the cage. But what was weird was I wasn't seeing them in the cage. I was seeing them standing there, injured, and normally in 2v8s, when the killer is by a cage survivor, the cage like relocates somewhere else, but it wasn't happening this time. So what ended up happening was a survivor like managed to run past me, um, and then unhook them, and it was fine. I think I injured them while they like immediately after they got the unhook or something, and then it was fine. But yeah, it was really weird. Fix an issue where survivors could immediately die being after being uncaged if they were uncaged at the same time as their hook progress depleted. Fix an issue where performing a flashlight save or pallet stun during the caging sequence would sometimes not work. Fix an issue where the endgame collapse entity spikes briefly flickered on screen when picking up a survivor. Fix an issue where survivors' auras were briefly seen as they appeared in the cage if they were revealed as they were sent to the cage. Fix an issue where the survivor's camera was misplaced when being picked up by the Dark Lord. Fix an issue where the executioner's torment trail SFX remained when he stopped using rites of judgment. Fix an issue where survivors' voice lines wouldn't playable in play while you wait mode. Fix an issue where survivor classes were missing from their HUD portraits in TV. So I guess they won't mention it. Something that I really hope is fixed. I believe they said it was in a previous 2v8, but the whole if you played as Wesker, there was like a glitch, I think during the Resident Evil 2v8, where you could just be stuck holding a survivor for the whole trial, and all you can do, as far as we could tell, as far as me and Archie could tell, because I think he let a couple survivors pallet stun him, I think, to try to fix it, and that didn't work. And he was stuck holding them because you're supposed to like do that hook animation, but for some reason he never like did it. The only way it got fixed was the person that Orange was holding as Wesker DC'd, and that was the only reason why the game ended. But I hope that's still fixed because that was a really annoying and just frustrating thing. Audio. Fix an issue where Renato Lyra's Hidden Bones cosmetic played incorrect footstep SFX. I don't even remember what cosmetic that is, honestly. Fix the issue where the Trapper's bear trap was missing SFX during the Survivor struggle animation. Fix the issue where Survivor screams could sometimes be heard globally from the map. Fix the issue where the Knight's footsteps could be heard when creating a path for his guards. Fix the issue where the good guy's voice lines could trigger when playing as the good gal. Bots improvement. Improve survivor bots' usage of flashlights during chases. Survivor bots are now able to reform flashlight, flashbang, and pallet saves. Fix an issue where survivor bots were able to blind a killer through obstacles with flashlights. Fix multiple issues preventing survivor bots from correctly using various perks. Fixed multiple issues causing survivor bots to not participate correctly in group heals. Fixed multiple issues where Nemesis zombies could jump up and hit survivors from a lower level in the Forgotten Ruins map for Forsaken Boneyard Realm and the Racket City Realm. Characters. Fix an issue where Cyville Bennet's mouth appeared distorted in the lobby when she was not holding an item. Please ensure the Dark Lord was missing the black screen while performing a teleport while in bat form. Fix an issue where the good guy and the good gal never looked back at the player in high hell mode. Why do I keep getting ads? Environment slash mess. Fix an issue in the backwater swamp realm where the water would flicker. Fix an issue in the underground complex map where players could not interact with one side of a generator. Fix an issue in the temple of purgation map where players could get stuck at any dead end. Fix an issue in the Ormonth Link Mine map where players could land on top of objects when falling from the side of the main building. Fix an issue in the underground complex map where the nurse could blink out of bounds. I still want to see video of what that looks like when you get blink out of bounds, because I've never seen what it actually looks like, and I'm very curious to know. Fixation in the Dead Duck Slim map where the Xenomorph could get stuck on a flame turret when falling from an opening in on the Gallus platform. Fixation in the Pale Rose map where a generator could be repaired on one side. Fixation in the Forgotten Ruins map where the cameras of killers could clip through a wall. Perks fix an issue where the people's obsession odds did not follow the same logic as other perks. I don't remember what perk that is, if I'm being honest with you. God damn it. UI fixed an issue where starting a search with B in the friend list would cause a crash. Miscellaneous fix a crash that could occur during the game's initiation process. I think that's happened to me a few times. Yeah, I remember I remember I had like an issue where the game was stuck like perpetually loading, and I kept getting hit with some error message, and I think restarting ended up. I had to restart something and it worked, but kind of temporarily. I think I had to do it. Ended up having to do it 2 times in total. That was kind of annoying. Fix a crash that could occur when closing the game while being in the lobby. I don't think I've ever done that, but interesting. Well, it's always good to fix crashes. Although, let's be honest here, who's playing this game right now? This game has so many problems, and I feel like a lot of people have stopped playing because of it. Known issues. Voiceover lines for new survivors are unavailable on the PTB and will be available when 9.4.0 releases. There is a missing interaction cooldown from when the first emerges from an undergate attack, allowing the killer to perform interactions faster than intended. There will be a 1 second cooldown applied for the 9.4.0 release. Interesting. Alright guys, well that's everything in the patch notes. So final thoughts, I'm definitely intrigued. I hope it works out that me and Orange could film a video on it together or two. I think he's currently in the game playing it. I don't think he really enjoys reading all this, and to be fair, and I don't blame him. I just like reading them. That way I have I just like reading them. That way I kind of have at least some sense of an idea about like what's coming up, but also I just think it's interesting to read it on paper and then kind of experience it for real. But yeah, I'm definitely intrigued by it. The brand new killer seems interesting. I don't know what he does yet. I don't fully understand the wording. He doesn't sound as complicated as some other killers, but I also only read it on paper. It may not sound as confusing, but in practice it might be incredibly confusing for me, but we'll find out. I really like the new Survivor perks, though. The first perks were just kind of meh sounding to me, personally. There's nothing there that made me be like, this sounds really good for killers or anything. You know, they sounded situational, and they sounded just kind of meh. Like, they weren't bad perks, but they were just kind of whatever to me. But Dustin might become a main for me. I love that perk build. He's got some great perks. He's definitely someone I'm excited to adept. It's been a while since I've been excited to adept anybody. Also, haven't attempted adepting anyone in a while just because I've been busy and haven't really wanted to play the game as much lately. But yeah, that'd be cool. And 11, sort of same thing. I love 11's perks a lot. I'm excited to try out both of their sets of perks. And then the 2v8 stuff is really intriguing to me, that they're allowing us to essentially play 2v8 in the PTB to like test certain things with it. And of course, they're testing a new killer that might potentially come in a future PTB. So I'm really excited to see how that goes. Now, obviously, a lot of different bug fixes and whatnot as well, which is also always good. But yeah, this video is is long, so I'm gonna cut the rambling as soon as I can. But I'm really excited to try out the PTB. So stay tuned for tomorrow, where I should actually do like first impressions, where I'll go in the game, look at the models, just look around, see what they read the backstories. There's a number of other things I'll do. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, ring the bell. Do all the aggravated garbage. It helps us out a lot. It means a lot to us. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.